Hey, everybody, welcome back to the practice of feeling good in business and in life. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad that we're in this conversation together because I believe that practicing feeling good is the most important pursuit in life. I feel absolutely certain that when we practice feeling good, really practice it, we suddenly have access to powerfully creating the feel good health, wealth, and relationships that we've been wanting. So welcome. Today on the show, our guest is Shannon Kraft, and I want you to know this person. I've met a lot of people, and Shannon is one of those who will always stick out in my mind as the real McCoy. She is authentic, and she has such a beautiful heart, and she's kind, thoughtful, considerate, and giving. And as a real estate professional, she helps people navigate some of the biggest financial decisions in their lives as they decide to invest or divest themselves of real estate. So it's my absolute pleasure to introduce you to Shannon Kraft. So, hey, Shannon, welcome.
Hey, Fletcher. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Good to be seen. All right. So we're going to get started. But before we do that, it's always important, as you know, to start off with what's been going well in your life. So let's just start off with just a couple of wins, because it always feels good to share wins and hear what's going well for other people. What do you got?
Well, I'm just finishing up my best year in real estate yet since I came into the business 7 years ago. It's been an absolutely wonderful year. Even with the pandemic, the market has remained strong. And being, that I work in real estate, I'm able to work from anywhere. So having a child who is doing remote learning hasn't been as big of a challenge for me as it has been for a lot of people, because I can get her going on her classes and I can be working from home and making sure that she's staying on task as well. It's been a huge win.
So you're having a banner year in real estate, and you're rolling with the punches with this pandemic and the remote learning, and the flexibility of your job allows you to really help your daughter thrive in that atmosphere as well. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely. It's actually been a wonderful year.
Yeah. And it's so great to hear people say that. And some people listening may be like, well, geez, Fletcher, it's easy for you to say that. You didn't lose somebody to COVID, and we're not trying to diminish anyone's suffering or the seriousness of what's been happening. But we're simply talking about what's working well and how to thrive despite, a lot of the suffering that's happening around us, right?
Absolutely.
And I just noticed, and we're down at for those of you watching this, the name on Shannon's Zoom thing here says Olivia Drakes. She's not Olivia Drakes. She's Shannon Kraft. And but we wanted to make sure that you knew that. She's just using another computer today. But so tell me about what's going on in your backyard on a very personal level. What's going on in the backyard in Shannon Kraft's house these days?
Well, we've got our little mini farm going. We've got our chickens and our ducks, and well, not this time of year, but in the spring and summer, we've got a pretty epic vegetable garden that we call the Garden of Eden. We feed half the neighborhood. Anybody who wants can come and harvest the garden, and we're constantly giving eggs away because we're probably getting anywhere from 50 to 60 eggs a week. So clearly more than we can eat. Wow. But everybody says, can we buy them? And I say, no, but you can sure come over and pick some up, or I'll deliver.
I love it.
I don't sell them, but I'm happy to share them. It's part of the abundance that I have, and I want to share the abundance that I have with as many people as I can.
I love it. So,
yeah. That's what's going on in my backyard.
Yeah. So you got ducks, you got chickens. How many chickens do you have?
Dogs, cats, parakeets, 14 chickens and 4 ducks.
That's great. That is great. Sometimes when I'm talking to Shannon, she's like, we're just out in the backyard, so there's going to be a lot of noise. There's going to be a lot of livestock noise. I'm like, okay, got it. So I got a few questions for you. As you know, you've been in the real estate industry for how many years has it been now?
This is year 7. I'm just finishing up year 7.
All right.
out as an assistant to a high producing agent at Laura Mounter, who specialized in short sales. So I cut my teeth in the short sale process. And there are thoughts that that could be coming around again. And then I moved into being an office manager and a marketing director at a different office, and did that for up until early this year, while
Mm-hmm.
also straddling selling as well.
Yeah. And so you really know the industry from a lot of different angles, right?
Absolutely.
You've worn a lot of different hats.
I have.
I remember when I first met you, I think you had about 4 or 5 different hats you were wearing then. So,
Yep. I
but
feel semi-retired.
it's all come together and served you very well. So tell me, what do you like about this industry?
You know, the thing I love the most about it is the personal connections. I love taking care of people. Previous to my life in real estate, I owned a house cleaning business where I specialized in doing house cleaning and light in-home care for senior and disabled individuals in the community. And transitioning into the real estate industry has allowed me to continue, you know, investing my heart in the service of others. And so I've really enjoyed being able to connect with people, meet people that I otherwise wouldn't have met, and forming amazing bonds. I have clients from years ago that, you know, we message all the time on Facebook or just call each other to chat and just catch up. And, you know, it's basically, you know, building friendships one transaction at a time.
And yeah, you have one of those personalities that once you get to know you, you want to just continue to, you want to hear from Shannon. She's, you know, you're a quality person, and I know building those relationships is easy for you because you're so authentic. So I want to recognize you for that. Next question is, we've known each other for a number of years, right? In different capacities, and as I was in a different position and you were in a different position, and I remember when I sat in your office about 12 or 16 months ago, or however long it's been, and you were in a different place then. Can you kind of share what your mindset was then as opposed to now, and maybe kind of how that shifted for you?
Well, I think that I kind of came from a scarcity mindset where I was always concerned that my pipeline of business was going to dry up, and I wasn't sure how I was going to provide for myself and my daughter. And, you know, there was a lot of anxiety that came with that. And just realizing that there is abundance all around us. We just have to trust in it. And when things do slow down, before I would get concerned that that's it, it's over, I'm never going to close another sale again. Now I enjoy those downtimes, those lulls, because it gives me a chance to take a little breather and recharge my batteries so that when it ramps up again, which it always does, I'm ready to jump in and get the job done.
Yeah. I love what you said. There are going to be ebbs and flows, right? There's going to be those lulls, but the difference for you now is like, oh, I'm just going to enjoy this lull because life's always working out for me. It's about to get busy right around the corner, right?
Yep. And if you get slow, book a vacation, you're guaranteed to get busy.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, do something fun, and then suddenly the work shows up, right?
Always, every time.
I love it. I love it. So, you know, the real estate profession, there's a lot of real estate professionals out there. A lot of people have their license, and there's a lot of people who are really struggling in this industry, who have closed maybe one transaction or 0 transactions. What's the difference? How is it that you're able to perform at a consistently high level?
I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. One of the things I pride myself on is I am highly accessible. I always answer my phone, and if I don't answer my phone, it's because I'm probably on another call, and I get back to people promptly. I can be reached through phone call, text message, email. I even have clients that their preferred method of communication is Facebook Messenger. And however they want to reach out to me, I'm happy to respond back. I even answer the phone from unknown numbers during dinner, much to my family's annoyance. But, if somebody needs something, if they have a question, I'm going to be right there to answer it. And I tell all of my clients, if I'm not sleeping, I'm working. And that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. And or you're at least thinking about it, and I know you're definitely a person who goes the extra mile, right?
I do.
I mean, like literally extra miles, like driving way out in the boonies because someone doesn't have a fax, and you were like, okay, I'll print it off and bring it to you to sign, right?
Yep. I had a client earlier this year. They had a home listed in Wenatchee with me, but they lived in Ephrata and they didn't electronically sign. They didn't have a computer or a smartphone. So every time we needed a signature or initial, it was a 2-hour round trip to drive to Ephrata and back. But I was happy to do it. I just found the win in time to grab a coffee, hop in the car, put on some good music and drive.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I like that image of you putting on some good music, because I know you have a wide variety in music that you appreciate.
I do.
So that's good. Well, I know contribution is important to you. And a couple of weeks ago, you called me and we were just kind of sharing some wins, because isn't it so cool to like have people in your life that you can just call and like share wins and like what's going well, because it feels really good. And I love that we have each other to do that as well. It's so cool to have friends like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you called and we were chatting, and you shared something that was really cool. And I know like being a source of contribution is important to you, and it feels good, right? Not from a boastful place, but just from this core belief, like it makes a difference to be a source of kindness and contribution. It makes a difference for the world, right? Would you mind sharing with us kind of the story about what happened?
Yeah, well, probably, 8 or 9 years ago, I had taken my daughter sledding, and I struck up a conversation with a complete stranger on the sledding hill. And we found that we'd had a lot of parallel life challenges. And we were just very open and vulnerable standing there in the freezing cold on that sledding hill. And we just formed this incredibly deep bond and built a friendship that has lasted throughout those years. And I learned through a Facebook post from this person earlier this year that they were facing losing their home to foreclosure.
Mm-hmm.
I have quite a lot of experience with homes in pre-foreclosure and short sale processes. And what I know is that the vast majority of people, when they receive a notice of deficiency, which means they're in default on the mortgage, the vast majority of people don't know what to do, so they don't do anything. But there's still time and they still have the right to sell their home. And unfortunately, the vast majority of people who lose a home to foreclosure never tried to sell the home before the sale date, the trustee sale date. And so they could be potentially leaving tens of thousands of dollars of funds on the table that they really could use now more than ever to rebuild their life and move forward. So I reached out to this person and kind of explained, that there was time to sell, and we discussed what the balance owed on the mortgage was. And I listed the house less than a week after that conversation, and had the home under contract for sale in less than 24 hours of listing it over the sale price, and was able to get that home sold. And there, was enough money left over after, the mortgage and all the other expenses were paid, that this person had enough money to be able to move forward and begin rebuilding their life.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a huge win. And I think that there are an awful lot of people out there who are probably in pre-foreclosure and don't know what to do. And I would really like to reach those people and meet with them and be able to assess whether they're, it's worth it for them to get it sold and walk away with some money, or maybe there's not enough equity left in it and maybe they're better off to just sit tight and basically live without a rent or mortgage for a while and try to save up funds for when that eventually does happen, the
Mm-hmm.
foreclosure goes through. But I think that most people in that position that aren't trying to sell their home are probably leaving quite a lot of money on the table that they really could use.
Yeah. And what a great story, first of all. I mean, because here's a person, she's not sure which way's up, as far as what to do with her, how to salvage this situation. And because you've had some expertise in it, you were able to come in, assess the situation, propose a solution that panned out beautifully for her and allowed her to springboard into the next chapter of her life. So cool. And what I love about the story too is that you got into action right away. Like, right, you saw the need, you saw the opportunity, you said, oh, I have a skill set that can help out, and you just got into action. And again, some people hearing this might think, well, of course she did, that's what she does, but not necessarily. There's a lot of people who see situations and think, I could do something about that, or I should do something about it, but it might be too much work, but oh, it probably won't pan out, or oh, I don't want to put my nose in their business. And you took action, and you were willing to take action. You were open and you were willing, and and all it started with was a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I really want people to hear is, like, just like you said, there are other people in that same situation. And I wouldn't have clue one as to what to do if I was facing foreclosure. I wouldn't know the tax implications. I wouldn't know the laws. I wouldn't know what my rights were. And so if you're hearing this and if you or somebody who is in that position, I want you guys to connect with Shannon, because, like, there's no cost to just have a conversation with her. And she can, and here's a professional who has knowledge about it. She may be able to put together a solution that's going to, really save the bacon. And again, not just that, but like really springboard you into something that feels good for your future.
I just want to help people. That's the main thing. More than anything, I just want to be able to help people.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I love that when I love, there's a well-known saying in particularly the sales world is, the best way to get what you want in life is to help other people get what they want, and not helping from this ulterior motive, like, oh, if I help enough people, I get what I want. It's just like it's the natural consequence of being that source of help and generosity. So I love that is a driver for you. So another question, as you go about your daily business, because you always have this very positive attitude, what do you focus on that allows you to stay positive and upbeat?
I think the thing I focus on the most is relationships. For me, relationships are everything. To, connect in deep with somebody and really hear them and understand them. Whether it's a friendship, whether it's, client relationship, which usually turn into a friendship, whether it's, relating to my, my family, even my pets, it's just, relationships are everything to me. And that's what I focus on, and trying to see the wins all around me. And not just that, but looking for the wins that I might be able to bring about for others.
Yeah. Yeah. And focusing on that feels good and motivates you, right?
It does, very much so.
Yeah. One other question. So you went through my coaching curriculum, or at least a good section of it.
I did.
For those of people who are listening and they're like, what is coaching? What was your experience? What was your experience going through the program, and how did it make a difference for you?
Well, I think coaching, business and life coaching, is just realizing that we all have blinders. We have blocks within our thinking. We have old ways of thinking and ways of thinking that probably at one time served us very well, but those ways of thinking, as our lives have changed, those old ways of thinking probably aren't serving us, yet we're still stuck in those ruts of those old ways of thinking. So, business coaching, life coaching is about helping you identify what your blinders are, helping you identify what your blocks are, helping you to get rid of the old ways of thinking and look at new ways to think. It's really retraining your brain to think differently. It is a change of perspective on how you look at the world around you. And so, I got a lot out of it. I felt pretty stressed out and anxious a lot of the time. I felt like I could never get any downtime. And, I just had appointments constantly, and going through the coaching really helped me to see the wins everywhere. And the more you focus on the wins, the more wins you manifest, the more wins you continue to see everywhere in your life. And it doesn't have to be big wins. It can just be very simple wins. Like a win for me today was waking up and the snow was falling, because I'm not a skier or a snowboarder, but I can sit and just watch snow fall for hours. So that was a win for me. And I think that, it's just realizing that there's abundance all around us, and we just have to believe in it. We have to tap into it, and we just have to trust in it. I think the biggest shift that I had, and it really came about even after our coaching was done, but there was so many seeds planted during that time, and it took some of those seeds longer to germinate than others. Mm-hmm. But over the summer, especially since I was no longer managing an office, since our office was acquired and merged with another office, and I stepped out of the management role that I had been in and went just straight into sales. One of the things that I realized was I was absolutely as busy as I ever was before, but I shifted my perspective. Where before I felt like I was always trying to fit in my downtime between my appointments, I shifted my perspective to where I was scheduling my appointments around my downtime. I had absolutely no less appointments.
Right.
But I just shifted the way I looked at it. And it was the most amazing thing, because I no longer felt overwhelmed, stressed out, and anxious just by changing the way I looked at it.
Well, Shannon, I love how you summed up your experience around coaching. And I love that you were able to shift your awareness and consciousness so that you could get to a place of just consistently feeling good. It's really, really quite an accomplishment. So I recognize you for that. I got one last question for you before we round or wind things up here. And if somebody's looking to buy or sell real estate, we want to be able to make sure they get in touch with you. So give us all the details on that.
Well, you can call me or text me pretty much any time of the day or night. If I'm asleep, I'll respond when I wake up at 509-264-2711. You can shoot me an email to Shannon, my broker, at gmail.com, ShannonMybroker at gmail.com. Or you can visit my website at homesinwenatchee.com.
Right on. All right, you covered
it. And reach out to me through that.
Good. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
I guess the only thing I'd say is just, the pandemic has affected all of us in different ways. And, it's been very difficult for a lot of people. And I think the main thing is just to be kind and look for ways that you can help your friends, your family, your neighbors. Just, if you have somebody nearby that's elderly, maybe offer to go to the store, the pharmacy. Just try to find things to do to help. I think sometimes events like this can really bring to the forefront, that we are a community, and there's an interconnectedness that goes with that. And we just have to, if we need help, reach out. There is help there.
Yeah.
It's just, we have to become master askers for what it is we need.
Mm-hmm.
So just be good and do good, and help where you can.
I love it. That sums it up.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Be good, do good, and help out where you can. I love it. Yeah. Thanks again, Shannon. And now you guys know what it's time to do. It's time to get out there, be a source of kindness, be a source of contribution. You do have something to offer this world, and I believe in you.